Hi, I'm Mulalo and I'm very appreciative for you being here today. Today we're going to talk on how manifestation is not scientific. Manifestation, I've been sitting on whether this thing is really beneficial to us or not, and it's not. And I can prove it to you biblically. Sorry about that. Biblically, scientifically, and just in general in life. Biblically, God meets us halfway, guys, with our faith and our faith-led works. Whether they're in agreement with His will, that is when we obtain them. So we are meeting God halfway. We aren't meeting God in the beginning. Why is it that we cannot pray in a manner by saying, "Hi God, I'm here. Can I please have an AMG? And thank you so much. I know you give it to me." Amen. Why is that? We cannot pray like that because that is idle, and that is exactly what manifestation does to us. People online are bombarding you guys with that ideology, and they're making you to only have that state of mind so that you can be part of their success and not gain any success. I am going to break it down to you scientifically why manifestation is not scientific, why manifestation is not real and it doesn't work. There was a professor who had a group of students, and he had told half of them to think on the best future possible that they're going to have after obtaining their degrees. Think on the future where you just are living your best life. And the other half, they were given a responsibility to not think about anything. Basically, continue with your course. They all continued with their course, while those ones were giving 30 minutes to think of that, to be in that state of mind. And they had all continued with their course, all gotten their degree, and had left the university. The professor checked up with them 2 years later, and he found that the ones who had given them an opportunity to sit in that state of mind did not obtain jobs or did not have a good life as the ones who did not think in that manner, who were not in that state of mind. Why is that? It's because they were so relaxed. They were so relaxed, they believed that, this is where it's going to end up. They never thought of the worst scenario. They never thought of working hard. Why does your body not give you the opportunity to work hard? It's because when they were in that fantasizing and in that state of mind, it makes you have low blood pressure and high dopamine effects. High dopamine levels. Why is it that we run to social media? Because social media gives us those high dopamine levels and thinking that we are living that life because we see other people living that life, but you're not there. You are not there. The second experiment was a group of ladies that were on contraceptives were told, half of them were told that, no guys, I want you guys to think of if-then statements. If then you do not take your birth control pills every morning, what is going to happen to you? The other ladies, live your life, guys. You are on contraceptives. You're a grown woman. Have a ball. Have a ball. We won't tell you what to do. We won't tell you to think on the worst scenarios in life. We won't tell you to consider anything, right? The ladies who were not supposed to consider anything, 50% of them got pregnant. 50% of them got pregnant compared to the group that did not, who were giving if-then statements. None of them fell pregnant. Why is that? We have went to pre-primary school, primary school, and high school. You were put in a system whereby if you had not completed your assignments, if you had not passed the grade, if you were absent, there were going to be consequences. You're going to be suspended, your parents are going to be called, or you're going to be expelled. Why did that system make us pass and make us to graduate from high school? It's because that system taught us of the worst case scenarios ever. I'll give you another point within that scenario. They had implemented a system whereby children were taught on how to be in the top 20, top 10, top 5, and top 1. They had just arranged us in that manner because they wanted our minds to thrive and to strive on getting that position. I need to be at least in position 20 to feel like I matter. Because those systems were making you to work, to think on the worst scenarios, and not to be able to be expelled or excluded within the academic system. That is why you're able to graduate. Why were you able to complete your homeworks even though you didn't want to? Why were you able to study at 2 a.m. even though you didn't want to? Because you knew of the worst scenario that you will be put in if you do not do so. In conclusion, worst scenarios and if-then statements are the only way that are going to make you succeed in life. You need to think on the worst case scenario of your life. The worst thing that will happen if you do not choose of let me exercise within these 30 minutes because I might gain in the next coming 2 days. I might become fat in the future. I don't know. But I will use the most of my 24 hours because I am thinking of the worst case scenario. If then I do not do it, what will happen? That is the only way you succeed. That is the only way you will succeed, my people. It is the only way you succeed. So I want you guys to right now take the time, 30 seconds, by closing your eyes and thinking of the worst case scenario. The worst case scenario, my people. If you not do something now, if you don't decide to study, if you eat junk, if you continue with those bad habits, if you continue with those ugly mental thoughts about yourself, how is your future going to be in the future? What goals are you going to obtain? I know you see those supplements, you know of those things. That is why I disagree the consumption of the social media you take. I disagree. I prefer people to create than consume. Information becomes so saturated, overly saturated, you don't know what to do with it. Back to the system of high school and primary school. We didn't have phones. We just had our textbook, and that textbook you're supposed to know it by the palm of your hands, on the back of your head. You're supposed to know them. You're supposed to know those keywords. You're supposed to know those definitions. That's all you had. So stop over-saturating yourself with information. You know those supplements, you know that gym membership, you know so much. But why can't you just lay a blanket if you don't have a mat? Lay a blanket and just get to work. Stretch your body. Run in your neighborhood. Do something. There is no perfect time. There is no perfect opportunity. No matter how beautiful your dreams look, no matter how much you manifest, it's going to do nothing for you. Thank you so much for listening to me, guys. I love you so much. Bye.